The daily routine is heavy. You manage the schedules, handle the endless chores, navigate parenting duties, and by day's end, the exhaustion is bone deep. Looking across the living room at the person you chose to spend your life with and feeling like they are 1,000 miles away is a remarkably common human experience. It does not mean your relationship is broken. Most marriages do not collapse from a sudden, explosive event. They suffer from a slow, quiet erosion. If we want to save our sanity and our relationships, we have to stop analyzing the loud arguments and start paying very close attention to the silence. That silence is where resentment lives. It is a quiet killer that accumulates slowly, day by day, completely out of sight. You can spot the symptoms in the heavy sighs, the brief cold shoulders, the emotional withdrawal, and subtle struggles over trivial decisions. We usually choose this silence as a defense mechanism. We swallow our frustration, operating under the false belief that keeping quiet will avoid a fight and keep the peace. But swallowing that frustration builds a wall between you and your partner. Over time, that wall becomes so thick it bankrupts the emotional energy of the entire house. A major reason that wall gets built comes down to unspoken expectations. We often create a perfect geometric fantasy of who our partner should be. We expect them to instinctively read our minds and know exactly what we need without us ever having to say a word. The only way to close the gap between reality and our expectations is a specific skill: assertiveness. This does not mean making aggressive demands or launching a list of complaints. It is simply the vulnerable act of stating exactly what you need, plainly and clearly. Waiting for your partner to act as a mind reader ensures you will always be disappointed, and they will always feel exhausted by a test they didn't know they were taking. This iceberg chart represents marital friction. Up to 90% of an argument sits below the surface, rooted in psychological history. That history is full of generational trauma. We carry hidden agendas into our relationships, completely unaware they exist. Without realizing it, we ask our partners to act as healers. We want them to make up for the affection we didn't receive, or fix the times we felt rejected by our own parents. No human being can fulfill that role perfectly, and when they inevitably slip up, those old childhood wounds flare up, disguising themselves as an intense argument over folding laundry or a slightly annoyed tone of voice. Without psychological awareness, you aren't fighting the person standing in front of you. You are fighting the ghosts of their past. Reclaiming your sanity requires a dual antidote: empathy and self-disclosure. Empathy here means creating a safe harbor just to listen. You have to actively resist the urge to immediately solve the problem or fix your partner's mood. Self-disclosure is the courage to articulate your own hurts and needs with absolute clarity while entirely dropping blame from your vocabulary. Practically, this means taking a deliberate pause when you feel triggered, stating your feelings in real time instead of bottling them up, and choosing to forgive quickly. When you communicate this way, you stop operating as two rivals in a me versus you battle and start functioning as an us versus the problem alliance. You have to abandon the exhausting pursuit of a flawless, conflict-free marriage because that fantasy simply does not exist. Instead, the goal is to build a true team of life, a partnership grounded in the concepts of sakina, mawadda, and rahma, peace, love, and mercy. This creates a home that is rukun and gayub, harmonious and deeply united. And that unity is built through daily, active maintenance, not passive hope. That peace requires constant reinvestment. It means choosing to speak to each other, especially when it feels uncomfortable. Because ultimately, a sane marriage is a sanctuary. After facing the exhausting chaos of the outside world, both partners deserve to return to a harbor that is unconditionally safe, forgiving, and deeply human.